A new era has begun in Baltimore sports. Pete Alonso has signed with the Baltimore Orioles for 5 years, $155 million. What is up, everybody? It is your boy ZFarm. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I will be discussing the Pete Alonso signing and how it impacts the Baltimore Orioles lineup. Along with that, I will be talking about a few free agent pitchers that I would like to see in a Baltimore Orioles uniform and a couple trades that would benefit us for a World Series run. If you are new to this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, and let's get into this video. Now, when you talk about impact players in the world of Major League Baseball, Pete Alonso is a name that I don't think is talked about as much as he should be, but he is a very impactful player in the world of Major League Baseball. He is a clutch hitter. When the Mets needed Pete Alonso to get a home run, get on base, he did it. Last season, in the month of September, he batted .293 with a .345 OBP and a .921 OPS. He really only had one bad month last year, and that was the month of July, but in August, he hit for .300. The month before that, he hit .295. He had one of the best Aprils in Major League Baseball last year, hitting at .355 with a 1,168 OPS. Pete Alonso last year was very good for the New York Mets, and dare I say that Pete Alonso was the best hitter for the New York Mets last year. If not the best, the most consistent. And that's what the Orioles had to bring to the lineup, was consistency. Gunnar Henderson last year, while having a 5-WAR season, was a down year. Jordan Westburg last year played 85 games. We know when Jordan Westburg is healthy, he's an all-star caliber third baseman. Jackson Holliday was okay, but not living up to the potential. Bringing in a Pete Alonso elevates those guys. It will bring out the best in Gunnar Henderson. It will bring Gunnar Henderson back to his MVP caliber season he had a couple years ago. It will bring Jordan Westburg back to all-star levels of contention. It will bring Jackson Holliday, hopefully, to the full potential, the 1-1 generational second baseman from the Holliday family. And maybe, just maybe, it can bring back a guy like Adley Rutschman. It can take some load off his plate. It can take the load off a guy like Samuel Basallo, who's going to be developing this year. Dylan Beavers, if he's not traded. Hopefully not. The Orioles have a lot of good young players. They needed a guy. Another guy from outside the organization, and they got him in Pete Alonso. I'm excited to see what this lineup looks like. My top 4 prediction is Jackson Holliday leading off, Westburg 2, Henderson 3, and Pete Alonso 4. Obviously, that can be interchanged, but I do think that is the 4 they rock with. The 5 through 9 is going to be in debate. I think that will be decided in spring training. But that 1 through 4 is arguably the best infield in Major League Baseball. Just thinking about it now, Pete Alonso at first, Holliday at second, Westburg at third, and Gunnar at short. Is there a better infield in Major League Baseball? I can't really think of one. Now that you have your 1 through 9 set, you need to go out and get some starting pitching. The Orioles last season were bottom 5 in very well every single category last season. ERA, WHIP. The team only had 7 shutouts last year, and they did this while having one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball last season. Trevor Rogers had a historic season last year, and if he pitched in the month of April, could have very well been the Cy Young winner. Last year, he had a 1.81 ERA, 103 strikeouts, a .90 WHIP, and he finished the year 9-3 in 18 starts. Now, to pair with Trevor Rogers, the Orioles activated Kyle Bradish back from the 60-day IL in late August last season. And Kyle Bradish looked like Kyle Bradish when he came back last year. He had a 2.53 ERA, a 1.03 WHIP, 47 strikeouts in 32 innings. And he is just incredible. He is one of my favorite pitchers to watch in all of Major League Baseball. His stuff is incredible. And unless they go out and get a Tarek Skubal, he is my game 1 starter if the Orioles make the postseason next year. He is that good to me. He is one of my favorite pitchers to watch. There are not words to describe what Kyle Bradish does. So I'm excited to see what Kyle Bradish brings to the table. I'm excited to see what Trevor Rogers brings to the table, but it's not enough. Like Kendrick Lamar said, it's not enough. Last year, the Orioles were pitching guys like Charlie Morton, Tomoyuki Sagano, Dean Kramer, who I think is going to be the 5 of this rotation, but we will see. Zach Eflin had a couple starts. Grayson Rodriguez did not pitch. We traded him for Taylor Ward. And there were just so many questions about this team and the rotation last year. This year, I hope that is not the same. And as you see on the screen here, there are 8 names the Orioles have either been linked to or have discussed as potential suitors for their services. Now, there is one name that I didn't include, but I do think we might have a shot at signing, and it might be a later signing if we don't get to a Framber or a King. Zach Gallen. He didn't have a great 2025, but I do think if the Orioles were to look for maybe a 4 in this rotation, say they believe in Kyle Bradish, they think Trevor Rogers is going to repeat half of what he did last year, you go and get a Zach Gallen. But hopefully that's not the goal, is to settle with Zach Gallen. The 4 names I'm going to mention are the 4 names I would like to see. Now, the one is a dream, and I think everyone in Major League Baseball is hoping for this guy. The other 3 are realistic. We are in talks with them, and we have been linked to their name. The one, which is a dream, and I'm going to start off with, Tarik Skubal. Now, I know it's crazy. The Baltimore Orioles, a Boris guy again. Tarik Skubal's on a 1-year deal. The Tigers have already said, we're looking for a high price. I would be willing to match that high price. If the Tigers are looking for a Colton Cowser, a Kobe Mayo, if you have to throw Dylan Beavers in there, I would do it. Along with the plethora of farm that we have with Trey Gibson, Enrique Bradfield Jr., a Luis De Leon. One of those names, I'm cool. As long as it doesn't affect the Major League infield, it doesn't affect Adley Rutschman, it's not Samuel Basayo, it's not a Kyle Bradish, it's not one of those guys, I'm completely fine. But Tarik Skubal, imagine the Orioles, and that Jeff Passan notification came out and said the Orioles have traded for Tarik Skubal. You know how significant that is for the Baltimore Orioles, let alone any other team in contention that were to trade for him and his services. You are instantly a top of the line team. You are up there with the Dodgers in terms of odds for the World Series. You getting a Tarik Skubal changes everything. And the Orioles this season, if the offense is healthy, if what Craig Albanez is preaching is true, this offense, this pitching staff with Tarik Skubal would easily be a 95-plus win team. And it's not even close. And that's why I said this is a dream, because you don't go out and just trade for Tarik Skubal and everything's fine. Everything stays the same. Somebody is going to leave that you don't want to leave. But I don't think the Orioles do it. If they were to do it, I'd jump up and down. I'd do cartwheels live on YouTube. That's how major a trade like that is. But the other 3 names I'm going to talk about are more realistic, and I do think can happen. One of them, it might happen sooner rather than later. And that one guy is Michael King. Michael King last season for the Padres, when he was fully healthy, was the best pitcher on the Padres staff. Now, last year he only had 15 starts. He had a 3.44 ERA, a 1.20 whip, only pitched 73 innings for the team last year, 76 strikeouts, was 5-3. But the year before, when he was fully healthy, after the Juan Soto trade, he was good, and he was very good. He had a 2.95 ERA, a 1.19 whip, 173 innings pitched, and 200 strikeouts on 63 walks. Last year he had 26. So now this move could easily set you up for another move, which in the 2 guys we're going to talk about after this, you can trade for a guy and re-sign him next year, and you can have King, a top of the market trade piece, Bradish and Rogers for one full season match with this offense. That's very good. Now, bullpen-wise, they would need a couple things, and that's something that we'll talk about on a later date, but right now the team needs starting pitching. And getting a Michael King for 4 years, $100 million plus, wouldn't be too much, probably around the 25 to 30 million AAV. I would do it. I would do it because that is the timeline the Orioles have right now. They have from now to the end of Gunnar Henderson's contract. And King's years would fit that timeline perfectly, as he would be expiring the year after. So, Michael King is my preferred free agent. I know Framber Valdez is out there. Framber is another guy that I do think the Orioles would target. He is a Mike Elias guy. He went to Houston. So, I think Elias is in on him because of that. But, to me, that cross-up incident last year with the catcher, it's turned me off. Not completely, but just not enough for me to say, hey, I want Framber Valdez. And I think that's a guy that goes to like a Chicago or a New York Mets or a team that is a high market team that is looking for starting pitching. And getting a name like Framber, I think, is a goal for one of those teams. So, to me, Framber is cool. Not cool enough. I think Michael King is the perfect option for this team. Now, after you sign Michael King, you have Trevor Rogers, you have Kyle Bradish, you have Michael King. Dean Kramer, I would assume, like I said earlier, fits into the 5. You need somebody else. You need to complete your rotation for next year, and you need to get a guy that will set you over the edge, that will solidify your rotation, your 1 through 4 being arguably top 5 in Major League Baseball. There are 2 names that I think on the trade market could easily do that. The one, who is my personal favorite, and I think should be everybody's favorite if you're an Orioles fan, Freddie Peralta. Freddie Peralta, for the Milwaukee Brewers last year, and last couple seasons, has been stellar for that team. Last year, Freddie Peralta, for the Milwaukee Brewers, was 17-6, a 2.7 ERA, a 1.08 WHIP, 176 innings pitched, and 204 strikeouts on 66 walks. And while accumulating those stats last season, Freddie Peralta actually tied Trevor Rogers in pitching WAR last season, ranking 7th in Major League Baseball with a 5.5 pitching WAR. Not bad. Not bad at all. And I think would be a perfect fit for this Baltimore Orioles team. Now, the trade package is very similar to the Corbin Burnes package, as both guys were on 1-year deals. And I do think this is a fair offer. I think it's another fair offer that both sides can benefit from. The Orioles would trade Kobe Mayo, Michael Forret, and the Comp A balance pick for Freddie Peralta's 1 year of service. Kobe Mayo right now does not have a spot on this team. If the Orioles were to trade him, it has to be for a top-of-the-line guy. It can't be a Mitch Keller. It can't be one of those type of guys. It can't be a 3 or a 4. You have to trade, if you are going to trade Kobe Mayo, for a guy that can be a Game 2, Game 1 starter for you. Tarek Skubal, Freddie Peralta. And I'm not saying he would be a headliner in Skubal. I think he would be more of a middle-of-the-package piece. But for Freddie Peralta and the guy that I'm about to talk about in a second here, Mackenzie Gore, he would be a headliner in those packages. He's still young. He's turning 22 next season. He is a good player. I still think Kobe Mayo can be a 25 to 30 home run caliber hitter in this league once he figures out Major League pitching. But he, as of right now, is not needed in Baltimore, as the team has Ryan Mountcastle to back up Samuel Basallo, and Samuel Basallo is starting at first base more than likely next year. So the team does not have a spot for Kobe Mayo. The Brewers would more than likely have a spot, and they would love 5 years of Kobe Mayo, along with the potential project of Michael Ford and their own draft pick. I think that would be a perfect combination, a perfect fit, and a perfect send for Freddie Peralta. Now, Mackenzie Gore, he is another name that I talked about and was on the list, and I do think if the Orioles were to strike out on Freddie Peralta, I do think Mackenzie Gore is another decent option. Last season, he had a very good first half. I can't lie. Mackenzie Gore, to start the season last year, was good. He was an all-star caliber pitcher. However, towards the second half of the season, his numbers started to take a drastic fall. And going month by month, his ERA dropped really bad. In May, he had a 2.63 ERA in 27 innings pitched. In June, he had a 2.93 ERA in 30 innings pitched. In July, he had a 6.75 ERA in 24 innings pitched. And in August, he had a 5.92 in 24. And in September, he finished with only 12 innings pitched and a 4.38 ERA. If the Orioles pitching coaches could figure out why Mackenzie Gore, when the season turns to July, he just kind of disappears from who he actually was in his beginning months of the season, I would be on board with this. But if he is a first half guy and we haven't seen him in a postseason setting yet, compared to a Freddie Peralta who's had multiple games, multiple starts, a lot of innings in the postseason, I'd much rather overpay for a Freddie Peralta than get a Mackenzie Gore, who we know once the calendar turns to July, his arm's not going to be the same. So that's where I'm at with the Orioles and the current state of the team. I trust the team. I trust the organization. That is the first time I've said that in quite some time. Mike Elias, with this Pete Alonso signing, with the words that he is saying, he has convinced me that this Orioles team is legit, that this Orioles team is coming for a postseason spot, and not only a postseason spot, but a World Series championship, the fourth in franchise history. And that is something that all Orioles fans are asking for, is a chance at a World Series, because this young core that he drafted, it needs a shot. And if it's given a shot, we saw it last year, the Blue Jays took the Dodgers to 7 games. If they can accumulate the pitching staff and the lineup is what this team is promoting it to be, it's not only just a playoff team, it might not only be an AL East champion team, it is a World Series contender. And that is what Mike Elias is trying to build, and that's what David Rubenstein is putting his money, his investment into. And that is what Orioles fans are happy to see. So, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for tuning into this video. If you have made it this far into the video, we are 17 minutes and 30 seconds. I appreciate you guys. If you are new to this channel, though, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. Like the video. Comment what you think the Orioles should do this offseason. And I will see you in the next ZFarm YouTube video. Take care, guys.